Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gamer Sledge. I am one of your hosts, Mark, and joining us this week, running the game that we're going to play this week is Daniel. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, all. How you guys doing?
Good of you to join us this week, man.
Alright, so as always, we're going to start up. This is a Mutants and Masterminds game that takes place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe about 4 years, almost 5 years after the snapping with Thanos. If you have any questions about the history, you can go ahead and email us or watch the episodes that have been pushed prior to this one.
And
We're going
a point of reference, since I didn't have a chance to mention it beforehand, since we had a bunch of technical difficulties getting started, this is Rise of the Mutants, Episode 8, Opuck.
Puck. Some of you may have, who were here last week or a couple weeks ago, may know that our player of Puck has switch shifts and is normally not able to play with us, but he is actually here on a one-off, and so we're really happy to have him. We also have a new player adding. So we're going to go through each of our characters. I'll list off the name, and then you can remind us real quick who you're playing, and then we'll jump right into it because we're running a little bit behind. So we're going to go ahead and start with Anthony.
So normally I play Puck, but because of my schedule shift, Puck is in an alternate realm at the moment. Probably figuring out vengeance methods against the rest of for not saving it.
He's fine.
This week, we'll see. I'm playing a one-off character this week. Character is Anza. He's a member of the Wakandan security detail that's going to be attached to this group to help them navigate through Wakanda and investigate whatever is going on. He's a normal human as much as any Wakandan can be, but he's equipped with a lot of Wakandan tech to help out in his ventures.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll go to Justin.
Yeah, I'm playing Surge, who's a speedster, essentially. He's normally a, I won't say, I'm trying to think of, like, not Playboy philanthropist, but like he's a rich guy's son, but a famous, wealthy family. So he's kind of got the limelight, and his main goal is to try to make mutants more socially acceptable across the globe. So he's worked as a undercover mutant to try to... He's got an identity is the biggest thing, so he doesn't go around flaunting that shirt all the time. And right now, he's helping out the Xavier's force.
Okay. We'll go to John.
My character is Blindfold. Blindfold is a mutant, one who particularly has no eyes. The area where those normally are located has been covered over with flesh. However, in exchange for the eyesight, Blindfold has highly developed mutant mind powers, both the ability to connect to the minds of others to read them and also to control them. In addition, Blindfold also has an ability to sense things that are about to happen in a very, very short time frame, which also allows them to navigate the world as if able to see, although without an awareness of colors and things around them.
Cool. Awesome. Nick?
Alright, I'm playing Aeon, which is a roguelike character. My character doesn't like a lot of the human factions. He's run in with them before, and it hasn't gone well for the other guys. So he's in the Xavier School, kind of resting and recovering from that, and trying to help out the mutants as best he can.
Awesome. And Mark?
I am playing Silver Surfer. He's an alien, Herald of Galactus. He's imbued with the power cosmic. He is super nerfed because he fell to Earth and is kind of cut off from his power source right now, but he's assisting the X-Men and attempting to warn the planet about a potential invading force waiting to strike.
Awesome. And just as a real quick recap from last week, we had Puck, who went off tracking Rhino, Scorpion, and Craven the Hunter, and some of the other group went to make sure that Reed Richards was safe down in the mines below the main portions of Wakanda proper, or Wakanda, the main city in Wakanda proper. And then Cadus stayed behind. I think Cadus and Surge originally were staying behind, watching the person who was speaking at the conference. Puck went on comms that there was an emergency, and everyone beat feet and headed out to start combat. Puck was in a magical force cage, trapped. Fighting ensued. Trap was popped. Puck opened a portal to, is it Alfheim? Okay, and brought forth some of his grasshounds, but he also ended up bringing in some hate on him from people at Alfheim who drug him back in. So we are starting up right from then. You guys have a subdued Craven the Hunter, you have a subdued Scorpion, and Rhino was pulled into Alfheim with Puck. So you have those two individuals. You're in a vastly wide open grassy field that has been torn up by battle. And there is a group of Wakandan guards, two of them riding specially trained rhinos, down towards you because they got the alerts that combat was happening. You also see that there's a familiar face, which is Blindfold, who you had thought was still back at Xavier's mansion. You were told originally, before leaving Xavier's mansion, that there was a chance others might be sent out as well to help you guys with the conference. So it's not super surprising that another mutant has joined you in the field. It is about 3 p.m. And one of the guards that gets off of the seat is one of the security guards you've actually seen around, and his name is Anza. Am I pronouncing that right? Anza?
Good enough.
Anza, you have been told that Queen Shuri would like to see all of them in her chambers as soon as they're ready. As soon as they've taken care of whatever they need to take care of. The guards themselves are there to put Craven and Scorpion into cells.
So right now they're like 200 feet up in the air on the board.
Right.
So do they want me to fly them to the cells? Or
It is currently safer for you to do that than for them to take them. If you wouldn't mind, sir.
Sure.
So essentially you're controlling your board and they are following underneath as you are piloting to the cells. You actually know where the cells are. It's the same cells that they put the Inhuman. So it's down a couple floors below the actual prison building on the planet. Or on the outskirts of the city.
Planet Wakanda.
1 second. Yeah. Okay. So I'm assuming that you group together. Make sure that the prisoners are escorted successfully. They are each put into a cell, and you can see that there's a guard placed outside of each of the cells. You just need to find the guards. There. And there. And there.
Question.
Yes.
Can I track Puck from here? Or attempt to?
You can attempt to.
Do I have to roll something for that? I mean, I know it's going to fail out of character, but he would try to locate him in character.
You can go ahead and give me a perception check.
And did somebody just drop?
Yep. And he's back.
Okay. Alright, perception check is a d20 plus perception, which I know is here.
So we're gonna need you to roll a 50 on luck.
d20 plus perception. I'm gonna find perception any second now. Hold on.
So it's a perception check to find with a -1 per 19,000 miles of separation.
Yeah, but I don't want him to feel like there's no chance.
I gotta find the darn perception amount on my character sheet.
I would say that Anthony could work on a cheat sheet for those stores, but they have one. It's called the character sheet.
Yeah, it's not very like
intuitive.
You would think it'd be up at the top with the rest of the abilities.
I would assume it'd be in the skills section with the rest of the skills.
See, that's what I thought too.
Section. Oh, sure. Okay, great. Yeah, +9. All right, so roll d20 plus 9. Roll 1d20 plus 9, and I'll let you figure out what the modifier is for however many thousands of miles it is, which is another dimension, so I don't even know if I can do that. So 14 is my answer.
You reach out with the cosmic force, and you can tell that he's not like on this plane.
I don't sense Puck on this plane anywhere.
I guess he went home.
I guess you went home.
Other people at the Institute that could attempt to retrieve him?
He's the one that could teleport. I don't know too many other people that could do that, let alone teleport to his dimension.
What about you? Are you able to cross dimensions? I look at Surge.
I'm going to throw this out there. I don't think any of you would have known that he was from another dimension, or even that he could teleport through that dimension.
I would say this is probably more of a question for Xavier. See what happened, see if he can help us identify what actually happened. Maybe he can break down what we didn't see, or at least kind of point out that, oh yeah, those lights, yeah, that means X.
Yeah, we can inform them and then do what we need to back at the conference to make sure that everything's going well there.
Yeah, I think Serge is right. Okay. So after dropping off the prisoners, you were told that Shuri wanted to see you. So barring any other complications, you start making your way to the modest throne room, which is more like council chambers. There's multiple seats around a very large low table, which are all empty, and you can see Shuri, who has aged into a beautiful young woman, standing with her back to you, looking out the windows at the rest of the city.
So as I open the doors to let the rest of the group in, I will stand guard off to the side, standing at attention.
Okay.
As she addresses the group.
Do you guys have any specifics on places you wanted to stand or be, etc.?
Blindfold generally chooses a position that is closer to the middle than the outsides, but not one that is. I'm gonna. Sorry, closer to the outsides than to the middle, but not one that is backed into a corner.
Okay.
So you can probably just grab Blindfold and move him to where you want him to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like you guys are moving up like the Wizard of Oz.
Pay no attention to the panther behind the curtain.
Like Star Wars.
Is there a snap to grid that goes on here?
There is,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
There is a way to turn it off. I just don't remember off the top of my head.
I'm actually good with leaving it. Okay. After you guys walk in, you hear her sigh deeply, and she turns around. You can see that the events of this conference are weighing heavily on her. When you first arrived yesterday, she seemed her happy self, like you guys have seen and heard from before. But she is definitely feeling the weight of the throne. And she's let that mask slip a little as she turns around to address you. Thank you. Again, we had some of our drones watching that. I had no idea. Well, I was warned, and I saw combat like this happening. How can you get so many people from so many places together without some kind of strife? But I never would have expected that. So thank you. We will put our people on trying to find out what happened to your little friend as well. Puck, I believe was his name?
That's what it was, right?
I know he's dead to me.
Wow.
Puck? Who's this? And it's all memory of him erased when he went through the portal?
I hate to ask you for more than you've already given, but before this fight broke out, I was going to ask you, and she's indicating to everyone except Silver Surfer, if you would possibly speak near the end of the conference about your lives as mutants. What you want from the world, what you want, your goals, your dreams, so that it can kind of put a human face on what they're calling the mutant problem. If you'd rather not, I completely understand. We have some others that are also on the list, but seeing it, the help that you guys have been able to do, we would really appreciate it. Also, if you could speak, talk to, get information from the 3 prisoners that are now here. You 4, well 5, and she looks over Silver Surfer's shoulder to see Anza standing in the back, have more experience with these types than the rest of my guards. If you can find out what they were doing here and if their plans are concluded, I would be greatly appreciated. Also, welcome. She looks at Blindfold. I'm glad we were able to get you on a transport so quickly.
Blindfold will respond. It is my honor to serve this bastion of light in these dark times. And it would be my honor to contribute to that light.
Thank you.
You can't see the light. Weird.
This is also known as you're talking to a head of state. Be on your best goddamn behavior.
Ironically, you can't see, but you see that.
I actually have a question I meant to ask before the show. You mentioned he's got a strip of skin across his eyes. Does he actually have a blindfold? Like, is he wearing a blindfold?
Yes, there is a blindfold that is
good.
across there, but also when speaking about mutant issues, it is not uncommon for it to be lowered. The very visible proof of genetic divergence is useful.
Oh. So he doesn't hide the fact that he has a physical proof that he's a mutant.
Well, it's kind of hard to do, because if you're walking around with a blindfold all the time, you kind of look like something's wonky.
Glasses, like shaded out glasses that you can't see through. I mean that other people can't see through.
Well, blindfold works on the Xavier model, which is I don't try to hide who I am. I just try to be above reproach. Like people can say they don't trust me, but I'm not going to try to hide what my identity is because it gets really fucking useless after a while.
If you would refrain from the F-bombs, please.
Oh, my apologies.
Come on!
It's all right.
I have that problem too.
It's all good. We try to keep it a PG-rated show.
You get one right.
Okay. So, cool. That's awesome. Because the rest of the people in the group, other than the Silver Surfer, who can look human if he needs to, everyone else pretty much looks human.
Mm-hmm. It generally blindfolded does walk around with the blindfold because it is more disconcerting to people to see the bare flesh. But
I see that.
It's because actually seeing it is more jarring, and that's less useful. But blindfold does not hide being a mutant. Because how can we reach a better understanding if no one knows?
They also don't try to kill you if they don't know you exist either.
They're generally not successful at that with blindfold.
Oh, they weren't successful at that with me either, but I don't like slaughtering people.
I generally have success with less lethal methods.
I don't.
He just generally doesn't have success.
Well, absolutely. I will help talk at the end of your talk, and we'll go ahead and start looking at the at Scorpion, since I think he seemed the most intimidated based off our last conversations with him.
Yeah,
Thank
And
you.
makes his way out to Scorpions.
I will contribute my talents to the extraction of information.
Alright, so do you guys want to split up? Tag team one person at a time?
Again, PG-rated.
let's just go in there and beat them up and physically extract the data. Or is there rules on what we were not supposed to do? I don't know. Kind of new to the whole Xavier thing.
So, you definitely should not beat them. They, right now, even though they are prisoners, they're prisoners of the Wakandan government. And while you've been asked to get information, you are not a member of the Wakandan government.
Nothing that I do leaves marks.
Me either, except for the whole stopping the heart thing. That's not really marking.
Blindfold will definitely inquire, when they are actually not in front of Shuri and are seeing about doing this. Blindfold is definitely going to ask whoever the law enforcement person in charge that they're interacting with is. What are the laws in Wakanda regarding the use of telepathy for interrogation purposes?
Or waterboarding, or...
So he's asking you, Anza.
Yes, I'm just trying to think about what those laws might be.
So being that there's
there even any laws?
that's unprecedented.
That's what I was thinking. Is
Physical-
like there wouldn't be any, so there would definitely be laws against physical interrogation.
Yep.
There are currently no laws against using telepathy to assist interrogation. It's never
No
been done
waterboarding?
before.
I would say no, leaving the person broken. You're not going to debilitate their brain
Well, I'm not-
capacity as you would their
Oh,
physical body.
purpose. He rolled a despair.
So again, are you guys going to team up?
Yeah. I'll weaken them physically, and John will extract the information mentally. I think that'd be a good take.
So who are you going to talk to?
I had pretty good time kicking the butt of Scorpion, so we can go try with him first.
So Surge already called Scorpion.
Well, I'll
And
watch him go in
you
first.
wanted
I'd,
to-
I'd like to see, how his methods succeed or falter, and so I can learn and still keep the respect of the people around me.
Okay. And Silver Surfer?
I think I'm going to join. So I do have a question, but I will wait to see what these two do first.
Okay, so you will be in the same place as them then.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna watch the little TV on the outside of the room.
Can you guys see the nameplates for Blindfold and Anza?
I can see the
Just for blindfold.
Yes.
Okay. You
I can
cannot
see
see.
this.
I can see Anza.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
it's due to layering.
Are you trying to say
Okay.
Anza or are you trying to say Aeon?
Anza.
Sorry.
Anza is outside the door, so yes. But because
Not counting overlapping, they're gonna overlap. It's just I want to make sure that I turn them on.
You did.
Yes, sorry. Yes,
yes,
they're
you
on.
did.
We played for a long time where I could see them, thinking everyone else could see them, and you couldn't.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so we're going to start with Aeon and Blindfold in the room with Scorpion. You removed his suit, and what I didn't describe last time, which I will describe now. Sorry. Anza's token, for all of you out there, is colored because I did not draw a token for Anza. I pulled it from the Star Trek game.
Yeah, that's about what it looks like.
Yeah. That's what I thought it was too.
So Anza will actually be standing outside the cell, looking in through the one-way mirror.
Blindfold is also gonna stand outside and look through the mirror.
More because I'm curious about the interrogation methods of these two, and want to also maintain the safety of the.
I'm claiming dibs in the middle of the.
I
So
would like
that's
to-
just a
Surge-
door.
Yeah, Surge would like to look at the biometric data, seeing heart rate elevation, seeing how this will work out. Because I'm interested to see how telepathy plays the effect on them, or if it ends up having any effect at all.
Alright. So, Aeon.
Yeah.
You were fairly violent with what you wanted to do to Scorpion while you were still out in the field. And there's a reason I stopped you from what you wanted to do, which was mutilate him completely.
Mutilate, just absorb it all.
As you removed... No, you wanted to decimate his body. As you were removing his suit, you noted that Scorpion actually has a tail. The biomechanical suit you removed from him turns that tail into a weapon, into a gun, but he actually has an appendage that is a tail that's about 3 feet long.
Oh. Well,
So when you were going to rip off his tail, it was going to take the whole tail.
Oh, well, it's a simple procedure, in and out the same day, really. Is it really? Well, I don't know. It probably has some arteries in there that might be a little more difficult.
You probably should be careful what you're saying around other mutants. Anyway, this Scorpion, you can tell that he's on edge. It almost looks like he's going through some form of withdrawal. You note that his skin is clammy, and he's got the shakes a little bit. But he is a South American with a pretty well taken care of mustache and short cropped beard. and his skin, which would normally be a darker tanner color, looks like it hasn't gotten very much sun lately. And as you step in the room, he actually backs up another 5 feet.
I'm gonna silently over comms. I'm gonna ask, what was he on? He's showing symptoms of withdrawal. If one of you guys could figure out what that is while I'm questioning him, that would be most helpful.
So as he says that, I'm going to pull up a screen in the one-way mirror, like a little display in the glass, going through the same biometrics that Serge was looking at, trying to see if we can isolate what he could be going withdrawal from. Maybe an investigation roll?
Yes.
I am going to start exploring mental defenses as soon as I have line of sight. And
Okay, so why don't you talk to us about how that works? And Anthony, as Serge is assisting, give a +2.
so the way my exploring mental defense is, I send my consciousness to the mind of the target, trying to figure out how that person will defend themselves from a mental assault. Basically, I'm reconning their mental defense. It is subtle, which means there's no visible sign that I'm doing it, and it's insidious, which means the target doesn't know that it's being done to them at the same time. It is limited to targets with a mind. I can't try to read the mind of a robot or a rock.
Okay, so as you feel your way across his mind, there are certain things that stand out to you. One, his mind is a very animalistic, almost like he's been reprogrammed over and over and over, and each time more and more animal and less man. Also, as you are reaching through, as soon as you start to get towards his mind, it feels like you're pushing through thick jello to get in there. And you felt this before when someone was magically protected. It still doesn't really slow you down, not really, but you can tell that he has some form of magic enhancing his defenses.
Okay.
And Anthony, with that roll, you know that he is addicted to some kind of painkiller.
Fentanyl?
Or some kind of opioid. Fentanyl is opioid, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And also some kind of poison. Like, I know it is a poison, but like some kind of actual poison.
Some type of beaver steroid?
No, like perhaps the poison that runs through the biomechanical suit.
Like it comes from him, or it's affecting him?
It's affecting him. Like maybe he was on it for such a long time, and now he's not on it.
By the way, Dan, do you need to know the mechanics of how my abilities?
No, I have a cheat sheet if it's similar.
I have the cheat sheet for me too.
Yeah.
So Dan, you do have a slightly out-of-date version of his cheat sheet.
That's fine. Just if you can send it to me before next week, before 2 weeks, because John, you know this is every other week, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because and I'm gonna rewind really quick. Anthony was awesome and built you guys cheat sheets. Make sure you have those on hand, please, because they help you guys understand your powers and they help me understand your powers, so that stuff flows a lot more smoothly. But yeah. Thanks again, Anthony, for making those. Okay, so those are the two things that you find Anthony and Serge.
I'm going to take the data that shows that he's probably addicted to painkillers and is suffering withdrawal from something in the suit. Tap a couple of quick notes on the on-mirror keyboard that has showed up. And then I'm going to swipe, sending it through the screen off to some medical techs for them to peruse to see what they can figure out from it as well.
Okay.
Pads?
on their pads.
Are you gonna make it so?
Engage.
Thank you.
I'm gonna send you both on a voyage home. Serge, while you're going through the documentation information, you can see that his body is usually able to heal relatively quickly. The analysis that you're bringing up shows that it's probably whatever is being pumped through his system, probably from the suit. And he has bruises and lacerations from the fight outside that are not healing that fast, and he's showing, what would it be called? Favoring them?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah?
the bruises. Yeah.
Yeah. But it looks like he's moving awkwardly around them, as in he's not used to having wounds like that.
Okay. I'm gonna basically hold on to that until the team comes out, and I can relay that back as a group. I mean, as far as I'm sure that Aeon can tell, seeing him limp is, I'm assuming, a relatively obvious visual
Okay.
identification. But beyond that, I'll pass it on as like, did anybody else notice, kind of a thing. If we don't gain anything from the questioning.
So, how much of what you guys are finding is being sent into Aeon's earpiece?
0 of that has been sent for me.
Okay.
Just because, like I said, if most of my knowledge seems to be appearing a visual representation of him limping from wounds healing not quickly, but I'm assuming that's something that him up close is going to see a little right away.
And I haven't sent any data to Aeon either. I've been trying to investigate it on my own and then sending the data out to the med.
Okay. Alright.
You're on your own, good.
It sounds like you.
Awesome.
Let me know if you need me
Wait.
to heal him.
I'm sorry. Aeon specifically asked for information on what he's addicted to. And you provided that information to him, right, Anza?
I'm sorry, I didn't, out of character, I didn't hear that he had requested that. Now that I
Okay.
know that he did, absolutely, I will have given him that information.
Okay, and that's all. That's what he requested, but I don't think he
So there's-
requested more than that.
Well, any information you guys find will probably help in the interrogation, really.
That's true. They're waiting for you to punch him so they can arrest you.
More or less.
I don't need to actually physically touch him to kill him, guys. Come on now. That's not my style.
Also,
I have to absorb his soul before I can actually hurt him anyway.
I do make a point to mention after the information about his addiction is relayed that if you need me to heal him, I can do so.
That might be needed after. So, Scorpion, why did you and Craven and Rhino try to disrupt this meeting?
He's shaking his head. Mac Gargan, she says.
Please look up that, Garkin.
Is that a language, or does that sound like he needs a translator? Maybe his suit's a translator?
Matt Garkin.
Not Scorpion. Mac Gargan.
You're Max.
Matt.
Matt?
MAC.
Mac.
Yeah, Mac.
Alright, Mac. Why did you and the other two come to this conference? And why did you target my friend Puck explicitly?
He seems to be moving his lips but not making any sounds.
Sorry, we have somebody watching and she was asking why the video disappeared.
Why the video disappeared?
All our videos are on. I can see it.
No. I think it may be the internet. Yay, gremlins.
Yeah, because the stream's still going. I'm checking it right now. Yeah, it's still going.
Okay. I would like to say it. And sorry, I don't have a thick South American accent. He does, but I mean his English is still pretty good. He says, "I wish I could say I was here out of the goodness of my heart, but too many fight against us, brother."
So, what was your purpose in coming here, besides obviously disrupting my friend Puck?
Well, that wasn't actually the plan. We don't like spies. Craven doesn't like spies. But he was prepared, as he told us he would be. That was meant for Reed. Puck just got in the way.
But Reeve's just a human. Why would you need such elaborate divide or plan to trap a human?
Yes, a human. But a smart human. An efficient human. You would have to ask Craven why Reed. I don't know, but it was part of the mission to get me here.
So you're only targeting Reed? When there was all those other juicy humans?
I'm not sure who Craven wanted besides Reed. I only knew about Reed because I've been watching him for the last 4 days.
I figured you guys were after the senator.
No. As much as I dislike his principles, he is a man just like the rest of us, and is just as problematic.
Yeah, some men seem to be more problematic than others. Was there anything else, any bigger plan than what were you going to do once you got Reeves?
Reed?
Reed, yeah, Reed.
That's a good question. I was only really meant to stop him, hold him. Craven had more plans than that. In my town, less than 0.001% of the population were mutants.
So, like, one of you?
2. A small girl named Deborah. She didn't last long under the weight of all those stones.
I bet. In my country, mutants didn't necessarily last that long either, depending on what they came across. Humans can be a very violent bunch. Since you've been so forthcoming, do you need any assistance? I see that you're under some distress from our encounter.
The assistance I need, you would not be able to provide. I need my suit.
Yeah, I don't have the authority to give you that, unfortunately.
He gives you a wide grin, and it's almost charming, the smile he gives you, and says, "Yes, I know." Beneath all of the tattoos, because you can see he has pretty heavy tattoos. For the record, you guys have seen this guy before. Not you guys, but the players, have seen this actor before. Because Scorpion actually shows up in Homecoming. He says
You need to watch that movie again.
it was built for me in the Savage Lands. There's only one like it. And as such, there's only one place to get what will sate me.
So, are you saying you're dying if you don't get this substance?
Well, as you said, you have no ability to get me the suit. I'm already dead.
Well, just because we can't give you the suit doesn't mean we can't give you what's in the suit that stops you from dying. This is Wakanda, after all. Their technology is almost on the level of magic.
That could be true. Some of the things I've seen in the last couple of years definitely made a believer of me.
Well, if there's anything that can make you more comfortable, let us know, and I will try to do my best to see that you are at least comfortable. And I'll see what Wakanda can do to help your situation.
Why are you being so nice?
Because I beat the shit out of you, and you were forthcoming with information. I have no reason to be hurtful. We are brothers after all, aren't we?
He laughs. I would not say that you beat me as badly as you seem to think. And he says that while limping over to the bed and sitting down on the bed.
Sure.
Like heavily limping. But it is good. I did not expect to see our kind here, after hearing how many mutant haters were going to be here.
Trust me when I say that it wasn't my first choice of venues. But like you, I do what I'm told. And I'll leave. Bid you good day, brother. And I'll leave and talk to Anza, just to see what Wakanda can do about the substance, because obviously his suit has the substance that he needs in it. So, or the suit does something to him with some substance from the Shattered Land. What is Shattered Land?
Savage Land.
Savage Land.
So close.
So, two of you, Anthony or Anza and Serge, were on the wall computer during that conversation. Is there anything you would like to look up or research while that conversation was going on?
So I posted in chat looking up any information that the Wakanda server has on Mac Gargan, figure out what his history is, what his affiliations are, what kind of information they might have. So that was my investigation for that.
Okay. That's actually not too bad. Wakanda has a lot of access to a lot of things. So really quick, Mac Gargan has done about 9 years in an American prison before D18. He's from a small town in South America called Dabonga, Dabonga, that is a fairly small town, like just shy of still having dirt floors.
So it's like a village, or is it actually a town?
It's a village. You're right. It's more of a village. I mean, the buildings still look like buildings, but they're more homemade than actual construction. He was a criminal, got into weapons trafficking, drug trafficking, that kind of stuff. But according to his record and some notes that are put into his file, he's a violent person, but wouldn't pull the trigger on killing people. Given the option, doesn't kill, and wasn't tied to any murders, which is why he only 9 years.
So how did he get past the filters to get allowed into the Peace Summit?
At D18, he was he disappeared. He was in a prison, but he was in one of the American prisons, one of the few that at D18 the majority of people disappeared from that prison, like completely, and so he managed to get out in some way. And the person he was registered as for the summit is David Levy. And he wore, if you remember, he wore his mask the whole time. So even cameras that were doing searches wouldn't have picked up on it.
Okay, I will have send a note. So, out of character, I forget what happened to Scorpion's suit.
Oh, it's still intact. It's just being held by Wakanda.
I assumed it was taken down to science to be scanned and.
Absolutely, yeah. So, wanted to make sure Aeon didn't like break it apart, tear it up into little pieces.
No.
I think it's safe. It was a safe assumption or question.
It's cotton candy now.
So ignoring the cotton candy, sending so the suit is absolutely in the Wakanda science, and it's being I don't want to say dissected, but reverse engineered.
They have the ability. They have the ability to do a 3-dimensional scan, deep scan, so they don't even have to take it apart. And you guys probably have that information at your fingertips.
So what about the suit? It, like, I guess gives him his more interesting powers and makes him an addict, and apparently it's going to kill him.
So there is a form of some kind of biological agent that is pumped through the suit, through a bunch of different bladders and vein systems, and injected throughout the suit into his body, that give him enhanced strength, enhanced stamina, enhanced agility, and allow him to control the weapon system of the suit. But you guys have never seen anything like it because it almost looks like it was grown.
The suit or the substance?
Both. It looks like the suit creates the substance, but it looks like the suit was grown.
Interesting.
No, I know that our lab techs are having an absolute field day with this one.
Yep.
And apparently, with questioning, he mentioned that without the substance that creates, he will die.
So, can I have somebody roll? Is there there's medicine, right?
Treatment or expertise medicine.
Either one of those.
That should be something the EMT should have, isn't it?
Yes, but somebody's here. Between the two of you, you are able to pull up scans of his body right now from the biosensors that were placed on him. It looks like he has several tumors in his abdomen and chest.
Did they like grow within the last like hour or so, or?
It looks like that the more of this liquid that is exiting his system, the more they have begun to grow.
I gotcha.
So
And yes,
it could be that the tumors themselves are also I mean, it looks like the tumors could have been at a stasis with those chemicals. So I don't know if Silver Surfer can take a look at potentially removing the tumors and seeing if they grow back again. But maybe it's the tumors were out of pause because of that chemical.
The chemical was keeping them at bay, is how it seems. Yeah. So it's strange, Ansa. You really haven't encountered that many prisoners that came with violent intent that were this honest.
Yeah, they're usually lying at this point, so this is definitely odd that he doesn't seem to be lying.
He offered up information, which kind of threw you off.
But is it true, though? Is it?
It's a good question.
There's only one way to find out.
Well, we have to cut his brain open to get his powers?
Okay, which villain do you think that I am?
Wrong show.
Because, see, what I've been doing while all this has been happening is weakening his mental defenses, using my Explorer mental defenses to slowly tick away at his, well, to reduce it to the absolute minimum possible.
I'm
To
pretty
give
sure it's
you
not going to be hard. His mental defenses seem to be not, let's say, present, since he's kind of sickly at the moment.
Yes, but
Well-
also once I start actively mind probing instead of just passively defense gauging, he's gonna know.
So, to be fair, blindfold, I was taking that into consideration and rolling with what I decided to have him say,
Okay.
as I figured his willpower essentially was coming down. It was part of the reason that he was as open as he was.
So, yeah, like on my mind reading, succeeding with 2 degrees of success, you can essentially ask a question per round and get the truth as the target knows it. So,
So what questions would you like to ask?
I would say honestly, if we just want to roll that into his questioning, that the thing that he's questioning, I'm repeating the same thing to find out if the answers are legit or not.
So,
With some nice sides like, where is your boss? And are there any other threats that you're aware of? Are you part of a larger plot?
okay. That question reverberating through his mind, you definitely get the feeling that Craven is the only person he would equate to a boss. When they aren't here and when they're back at the Savage Lands, Scorpion is like the ruler of his own domain. Not that there's a lot of people, but he calls the shots in his area. But for the purposes of your questioning, Craven would be his boss, and he doesn't know where Craven is. He assumed he's in another cell. He thinks Craven had a plan, a bigger plan, but doesn't know what it was. He doesn't think Craven trusts him because he's a mutant.
Isn't Craven a mutant?
No. I'm starting to think that Mark just has a sweet tooth. And did you have another question?
Yes. Does anyone need me?
Does anyone need me?
Well,
I have no answers to that question that are not mean.
yeah, Mac there could probably use some of your aid. I don't have the ability to heal him at the moment.
I look at the medical scans. All right, Daniel, you need to set some boundaries / I need your guidance.
Okay.
So I could do a couple things here. I could just straight heal him, which is a temporary solution, or I could actually try to heal him.
I think you should try to do whatever you feel like trying.
I mean,
Hey, Anthony, I have a question for you.
yeah.
Yep.
I need to know how I can message you directly. Hold on one second.
/W space Anza space whatever your message is.
Okay.
I guess that's my question for you, Anthony, is transform. If I can transform anything to anything, can I transform like dying cells to healthy cells, etc.? I don't know what.
There's nothing in the rules that stop you, except for the GM.
Right.
Depends on if the cancer has plot defense.
Okay.
Damn it.
Janet, I love you.
Well, it's not letting me. I have to go all the way back. There it goes. And you can just say yes or no if you have a small answer. And if it's activated or not.
I think I need more clarification on your question.
So originally, he had that as perception. And then you realized that that's not what he was asking for. So I know you changed it.
So I will type a long answer if you want to go to something else while I respond.
Okay. Well, the problem is we're kind of waiting on that.
Well, I guess we could message target Craven.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's move on to that, and we'll come back to this, Mark.
Oh, okay. And then
I mean, you can go in here, and they can go to Craven.
yeah, I'll do that. And the last thing I would say before going in is I would turn to Anza and say, "Can someone please go check on Reed? We left him to go assist Puck, and I want to make sure that he's all right."
Yeah, Ansa was actually pulling up security and trying to locate Reed Richards, which is easy. All of the special guests and stuff are wearing name tags that are geolocated. Excuse me, guests aren't for some reason, but the speakers are. And then you move inside?
And then, well, once I see that it's in the approximate location of where I left him, which was down the bottom of that mine shaft.
So he's actually now in Shuri's office with Doom.
Okay. I mean,
And Osmond Press.
Can I walk over here and actually see him in there?
Yeah.
Okay, great. As long as he's there, then I will go inside.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to put Senator Kelly in there too, and Cadis.
Ugh.
What was that?
Does that answer your question, Dan?
Yep, perfect. Thank you. Okay, and you move in to help Mac, and you guys move on to Craven.
I introduce myself. I say, "Hello, Mac. My name is Norin. I am not from Earth, but I understand that you are in pain."
Scoots back. Further away from you into the... almost like a child scurrying away from you as you enter the room.
I extend a hand, and I say, "I would like to help you if you will allow me."
I don't think you can.
I think you'd be surprised at what's
There's a power plot.
possible.
He's not stopping you. But he's not moving either.
I will sit down. I mean, this is like a table with two chairs, right? Over here on the
Yes.
bottom. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll sit down on the table and I'll leave my hand extended on the table, and I will just kind of wait and see if he comes over.
He'll move to the end of the bed. What are you?
It's complicated. If it makes you feel safer, I'll lower the silver off my head. Because I look like a human for all intents and purposes otherwise.
A naked human?
Just my head. Thank you.
A Ken doll naked human.
As he walks up closer, he says, "What's the nature of your ability?"
The cosmos itself. I wield the power cosmic. I take power from what is, and what can be, and what was.
Go ahead and make your roll.
Okay, so is there a... I say to him, this may take some time. So it's unreliable, so I have a 25% chance of actually activating it off the bat. Well, first of all, does he actually need healing. Like, this is just straight up, like, he's gonna die. Is there a difference? I guess is the short answer. Do I need to heal him before I work on, the other, or I don't know how that works in this world, in this universe.
Sorry, Anthony wrote a message. Is that whispered to me? Or is that to everyone?
Whispered to you.
Okay. Yeah, so normal damage from healing is a normal check because you heal that like a healer would. But something like this tends to be treatment, which is over time.
Mm-hmm.
He does have damage to him, like you can see the way he's carrying himself. He probably has a couple broken ribs. He's got heavy bruising that you can see beneath the tattoos and the scrubs that they have him in.
That's fine. I'll heal all that first. I have burst area healing 10 in a 30-foot radius.
5, 10, 15, 20. Is it selective?
No.
Okay.
It's 30 feet all around me.
Yep.
And this is not, like, these are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, so that's about this room, right?
5, 10, 15. It's Craven.
Wait.
But you wouldn't know that.
I wouldn't know he's in the cell next door?
I mean, you might, but you wouldn't know he's within 30 feet.
Oh,
That's
fine.
why I asked if it was selective.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't know how that works. Like, it says it's a healing. Burst area healing. Does that go through walls? I don't know.
It's a power cosmic mark. It goes through everything.
That's true. Fair point. So yeah, absolutely. So I heal him too.
Alright. And blindfold, your eyesight is returned.
Yay!
Wait, what?
It's so bright.
The power cosmic heals your eyes.
Are you kidding me?
Power Silver Surfer compel you. May the power of Silver Surfer compel you.
Sadly, even though that did happen, the only thing you can see is the back of your flesh coverings.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I was just kidding.
All you see is like light now.
So yeah, I heal him, and then I'm gonna take time until I.
So, as you lay hands on him,
yes.
and your power flows into Mac Gargan, your skin begins to bubble. And for one of the first times since landing on Earth, you feel pain. Serious and continuous pain.
Remind me not to try that.
Something about what is going on in his body is also cosmic power, but some kind of perverse cosmic power.
I am very okay. So after I'm done gasping and grunting in pain, I will look at him and say,
And he's prone.
"Oh, he's prone." Okay.
I mean, he's still relatively conscious, but he's prone.
As this happened.
Yeah.
Actually, go ahead. I'll just type it. You're good.
I will pick him up and
Okay.
put him on the bed. And once I have done that, I will then click the communicator or whatever's next to, to say, please let me exit.
Sorry, quarantine.
No.
Yeah.
Safe taken.
As soon as you stop touching
You need
him,
pedal first.
because your silver skin was bubbling like boiling metal.
Right.
As soon as you stopped touching him, that stopped. But that pain stayed with you for a couple seconds.
Okay. Understood.
And you leave. Okay, while he was doing that, you guys are standing outside Craven's.
Wow.
UV. Normal stuff looks normal. Silver Surfer actually doesn't show up on... When you try to X-ray Silver Surfer, you just see the Silver Surfer. UV, everything went blinding white. As well as IR. Everything went blinding white for a fraction of a second, and then Scorpion was laying on the ground. And Silver Surfer was looking at his hands. Ansa, to
So
answer
we're
your
all going to
question.
get tans.
Which is great for surfing, I might add.
You did note, Mark, or sorry, Norin, that his body is healed of the wounds that were there.
Right, but not whatever was wrong with him.
Right.
Got it. Once they let me out. Oh. Once they let me out, I'm going to actually scan myself for any permanent damage.
You perception check?
Yep.
You got a -2 to your con permanently.
You mean fortitude?
Big old fat 11.
Big old fat 11, but it's your body and it's your perception. You don't sense anything wrong with you, but you still have... it's a feeling you haven't felt in a very, very long time, but you feel dirty.
Understood. While they're dealing with Craven, I'm going to go to Shuri's office.
Okay. So let's go ahead and do the Craven.
The shower's the other way.
Do the Craven. Did you say take a shower or go to Shuri's office?
I said go to Shuri's office.
Okay.
Wow.
You broke up in my...
Take a shower in Shuri's office.
You broke up in my headphones, and I was pretty sure you said Shuri's office, but then Serge said the showers are that way, so it confused me.
We're breaking up.
Good job trolling me, Justin.
Someone
All right.
his mind control check.
Who's gonna talk to Craven?
Hey, I talked to the last guy, man.
I think in this case, perhaps I should.
Okay.
By all means.
I'm going to save a copy of the notes and the log of everything that we saw from interrogating Scorpion. Save it to a video file, send it off to the rest of the security team to start going through to see what they can piece out from it as well. And then as we move to Craven's cell, I'm going to make a box with my fingers, spread it out, creating that same view screen. Start looking at the biometrics, start looking at basically the same data feeds that I was looking at previously, bringing them up to look at here again.
Okay. And you can move yourself inside blindfold to stand wherever you're gonna stand. You can nice. You can immediately see that this room, as it should be, is identical to the other room that you were just looking at. Craven is a large man. He's easily pushing 7 feet. He's wide and built like a heavy linebacker. But you can tell it's not muscle from the gym. It's real world working out, like hunting things and killing things muscle. He has several large scars, but He's wearing a very large vest over a bare chest that looks like it's made out of the fur of a large lion's skull. The mane being around his neck and arms. His arms and chest are heavily scarred. It looks like he's definitely been at fight with wild animals in the past. And he's wearing a light brown leather pants that are made of different swaths of different types of leather. It looks like they took his boots, his necklace, all of his weapons, his belt, but left him with a really cool vest. Probably because they didn't want to look at his nipple. The other one was torn off.
OFF off, tore it off?
Yeah, a beaver accident.
No, he's been in a lot of animal fights.
Beavers are animals.
And animals love nipples. We know this.
Acting natural. He's got black hair, slightly receding hairline, black hair, greased back, but still pretty close. It's curly at the back, but still pretty close to his head. A short, cropped, well manicured goatee with a slightly longer mustaches, and it looks like he takes extra care to make sure those are proper, as if he can't do anything about the rest of his body being beaten up and scarred, but his face and his mustache are things he can control. He also has some heavy bruising, but it looks like he's proud of them, and he moves with the grace of a predator.
I see.
He looks at you and raises an eyebrow and says, "Ah, I see they brought in third string."
Before I go in, I'm going to be like, all right, give me some papers and like just a stack of miscellaneous papers, and I'm going to sit down when I step in and start to rifle through these papers like I'm reading information and preparing what I'm about to say while I am exploring his mental defenses.
Okay, so like at the desk?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that what this is? Yeah.
What was that?
Up here.
Yeah.
Where I'm still turned so that he is at my 9 o'clock ish.
Did somebody draw on him? I was trying to get just the drawings off. Oh, you drew mustaches. Never mind, that's fine. That works.
And I drew my...
No, you're fine. Okay. Go ahead and give me a roll. Is it a roll? It's a roll, right?
For what? For my penetrating his defenses?
Affirmative.
Not a roll for me to do it. It's a roll for him to see how much effect it has. He rolls 1d20 plus his will, and subtract the result from 20. Then that result is subtracted from his willpower. I can remove a maximum of 10 in one round, and cannot reduce him to more than -5. Or less than -5.
So he's rolling a will save, essentially, right?
Basically, yes.
Did you guys see that, or is that just me?
Yep.
No, I saw that too.
Okay.
And like, wow, it's +12 for him? Good grief. He has a very high will.
Yes.
Well, that's why I have a lot of time to... And very much what I'm starting with is stalling while I...
Probe his mind.
Yep.
Okay.
Since it is subtle, it is not noticeable by him. And, well, subtle and insidious. And I'm just gonna honestly keep that up until he's reduced as far down as possible. or situation precludes me from being able to continue doing that.
Okay. So are you going to ask questions? Or talk to him?
Honestly, not yet. I'm going to pretend I'm giving him the silent treatment to make him start talking first.
You know, they put child in here. That does not fare well for you. They brought a paper
little bit of
pusher.
the head turning towards him in a way that acknowledges I've heard him, but I don't say anything back. I don't like him standing behind me. That's very.
He's pacing. Like when you see large cats in a small confined room.
Okay. Oh yeah. It's. I can't reduce his will by more than 10 total, not by more than 10 with one action. So, I'm gonna keep rolling at it until I figured I've gotten as much awareness of what his defenses are going to be as I can get.
Well, that's about as low as he can roll.
So that'll be a -7 to his will. It recovers at a rate of 1 per turn, or per functional round. But
Okay.
I'm gonna keep going as I non-verbally acknowledge his presence and that he's talking.
So, as you find that crack in his mental armor, you can see that the rage is building, and that's how that weakness is starting to come out. He's starting to pace more, and you can feel him tracking you with his eyes as he's moving around. And then he goes to the head of the bed and starts squeezing on one of the bedposts, which is extremely well welded and fortified, but you can sense it starting to bend.
How? He's just a human, I thought.
Did you?
I said he wasn't a mutant.
Well then.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna do it again? Is that what you said?
And this will probably be the last time because I am definitely feeling like there's a limited amount of time before it takes a swing.
You said 7, right?
Yeah, it'll be -7, so it'll be D20 plus 5.
Okay, so 16.
All right, and that will mean a -4, but the most I can take him down is -2, so that reduces his will to 2.
Okay.
Yep, that is as much as I can get out of this.
And he grabs part of the bed and throws it over your head, and it actually stabs into the wall above your head. You can tell he missed on purpose, trying to get your attention, because you've been ignoring him.
Oh.
Like, on the one hand, this is working. On the other hand, I'm scared. Because
On the other hand, it's working.
The bed is now laying in piles. Those of you standing outside, what are your reactions?
He can have himself.
my reaction is, oh, jeez.
I'm getting myself ready to be able to come in an instant and get him out.
Alright, so you're going to be here?
Yes, I'll be by the
Okay,
door.
and
So-
Anja?
So he picked up the bed, threw it at.
He snapped off one of the, triple welded legs of one of the beds, which is welded to the floor, snapped it off and threw it across the room, and it impacted the wall and is sticking out of the wall right here.
Okay, so. At this point, I'm actually now worried for the safety of Blindfold. So
Okay.
I'm going
Blindfold
to.
is also worried for the safety of Blindfold.
Nah, it's fine. It's good. It's good.
I mean,
I'm going
I
to-
have a plan, and I'm going to activate my plan now, but oh, jeez.
Anza's going to enter the room with his taser drawn.
I'm going
And
to be
he's-
like,
Yes.
And I'm
Finally.
about to fire the taser at Craven when I see Blindfold's reaction, so I hold the shot, but I still have the taser aimed at Craven.
He walks through the wreckage of the bed and stops here. And he's staring straight at Anza with his hands apart, like pounce ready.
I'm going to... Alright, how bad of a decision am I going to make? I don't have a die
And before he does that, I pull Anza out of the room and close the door.
So you can do a slash roll 1d, whatever you want.
Are you actually?
I am.
Yes.
No. I'm talking to Surge.
Yes. Because it doesn't look like it's going to give Blindfold any credit, so I just basically pull him out of the room and close the door like, he never really entered. Maybe that was something of your imagination.
Done. I take that roll.
I am going to...
Why are you running a
mind
1v1?
control at him.
Okay. With what purpose?
I'm going to try to take physical control of his body and make his ass sit down.
Do I think weakening him would help?
I mean, I did. My exploring mental defenses made him a lot weaker against this, and that's part of the point of it.
No, that is the point.
I mean, like physically weaker. Not mentally.
He means weaken
Like
his physical body.
I don't think I benefit from you beating him up.
No, not beating him up.
Like Rogue. You know how Rogue absorbs life force? He also absorbs life force. So he's asking...
He's a life force vampire.
Yeah, so he's asking if that would help you.
I don't know. I would guess probably not, but I don't know for sure. That would be up to the GM.
And I'm not saying shit. Stuff, anything.
That against his back.
Potty mouth.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What's going on now?
Language.
Well, you are suddenly outside of the room.
Bad.
I'm gonna look around confused, like, what just happened? And I'll put the taser away.
Okay, Blindfold. How does this work?
I declare a target within my range. He is within my range. He rolls 1d20 plus his will versus a DC of 20. With 1 degree of... yeah, that's 3 or more degrees of failure, right?
Yeah.
That means I fully mind controlled him. Yeah, I decided.
Okay. So what is he doing?
So he's going to sit on the end of the bed on his hands.
Okay.
Or what's left of the bed.
Yeah, it's the wreckage.
Fair.
But he sits. He collapses down. Wait, is he sitting proper or is he collapsing?
A proper sit, like if you.
So
were sitting.
Those of you outside the room saw him square off against Anza. Surge, with a quickness, pulled Anza out, and then Craven, like an English boy from the early 1800s that was well trained, sits down on the edge of the bed on his hands. Legs together, staring off into space.
Who are you people?
And okay, like with control, all his actions are decided by me. Does that mean that I can make him answer questions truthfully, or does it mean that I could make him say things, but that doesn't make them things that he would think?
I think it means you can speak with his voice.
Yeah, I would agree to that as well. He's now your meat puppet.
Yep.
Well, what do you think, Anthony?
I would say that you have control of his body and the actions that his body takes. I don't think that you have the ability to force him to say the truth.
Okay.
Do you have an ability that could make him speak the truth? Or that could force him to speak?
I have the mind reading ability, but I don't think I can use it while I'm also meat puppeting him.
Correct, because they're different powers in the same array.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I would say you can puppet walk him, but you can't.
Hit yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be super happy after this.
I mean, with a hero point, it seems like he can do that.
Could I do that with a hero?
No, you know what? That's true. You have both powers. They're in an array. This is mostly fluff anyway. A hero point could do that. Sure.
I am. I'm gonna spend my hero point.
Good
since
point,
I
Justin.
have one right now to activate my mind reading at the same time while he's sitting there on his hands like a good boy.
Okay.
That I declare a target within my perception range. We roll. He rolls 1d20 plus will. I roll 1d20 plus 10. And then success is on these of...
Screw you, fake dice.
I mean, I actually rolled worse. But
I still rolled worse.
Alright, so that's 2 degrees of success?
He goes, African or European? And that's one question down.
I could ask one question per round and get the truth as he knows it.
Right.
Although he does know that I'm in his mind doing it.
Does he know you're controlling his body?
I mean...
Now he does.
Although, actually, as we described it, no, because it's insidious.
He felt like sitting down.
He felt like sitting
he
down
convinced himself that maybe he was tired and sat down.
Like being angry didn't do anything.
Yeah, he got all angry. A guy showed up at the door, and then a second later, the guy was gone. Like, am I seeing things in this room?
Of course, he can later question, why did I sit down on my hand? That
Yeah.
Like, certainly at the point where he knows there's a mind control, he can question whether his actions were because of me or not. But he can never know for sure.
Okay.
Like, I mean, some people think you wake up in the morning, a meat puppet, brush your teeth, a meat puppet. It's only 4 or 5 moments.
Most of my life I'm a puppet, so it's fine.
True.
Not wrong.
Every time I go to San Francisco, where'd my hands go?
I thought it was where'd your car go? My bad.
Yeah, no, that was because I parked it in a stupid place.
But yeah, I can maintain it as a free action. But at the end of his turn, he can roll 1d20 plus will versus a DC of 18 to shut me out and end the effect.
Okay.
And because maintaining it is a free action, I can maintain that and my body control of him without continuing to spend hero point.
Okay. Cool.
So
ask the questions.
First, I'm gonna ask,
how are you doing?
what are you?
Oh, shit. Dang it. I'm sorry.
Wow, Daniel.
Good job, Dan.
Language.
Rats, I've been foiled again. My one and only weakness. Who am I? The existential question.
I think
What
you
am
just
I?
accidentally commanded him to relieve himself in the bedchambers.
It smells
Just
awful
giving
now.
him an existential crisis. How can you ask a man who he is?
No, what he
goodness.
is. What he is.
Or what he is? What is he?
Yeah,
You know?
that's if it was who he was, that's an easy question. I have
I
that
get the
down.
truth as the target knows it.
Yeah.
What am I? But a being among many others.
I am-
being?
I am a man. A man at the highest of the food chain. That's what he says. That's what he thinks.
That's what he is.
That's what he is.
I mean, not terribly wrong. What is your goal?
Okay, so that's a very broad statement.
What is your goal here in Wakanda?
Reed escaped me once. He will not escape me again. He is the greatest foe I have faced that got away.
What is the one
that
thing
doesn't answer
you
the
want us
question.
to know the least?
I whisper to him in the comms. I'm like, but that doesn't answer the question. That's just two statements. That doesn't
To
tell
get
him.
Reed. There you
Okay.
go.
Just saying. You're sneaking around.
I felt
Technically,
that
this is mind reading. So, but you know what? Actually, because he is a meat puppet, I'm not just gonna mentally extract it. I'm gonna ask the questions out loud and make his lips say the answers.
I mean, that way it's on camera. We're like
You're playing with yourself. You asked a question.
What would you least like us to know?
Oh.
That I love My Little Pony.
There is a long period of confusing syllables that sound like a pattern that are the answer to your question.
Oh, like with my mind reading, I should be able to understand his thoughts.
Through your mind, you get flashes of numbers, mystical shapes, and strange colors that you get the feeling are a set of some kind of coordinates.
This is the same guy that had the tattoos of the runic symbols.
Yep.
On the body.
Also, in other words, I get an answer, but it's so far outside my ability to comprehend that I don't know what it means.
You understand it is coordinates, but you're not sure how you would apply those coordinates to make them usable information.
Mm-hmm.
That is, and you feel something inside of him break as that information escapes.
Uh-oh.
Like, he's still under your command at the moment, but you felt something within him
We broke another one.
break. Yeah.
I'm gonna walk out of the room.
Okay.
I am just immediately noping right out because I feel like my life expectancy has gone down if I stay in there.
Okay. And do you have more questions?
I do that. I'm going to send through the intercom into there instead of sitting.
I like to imagine there's like a silhouette door with a bulletproof window kind of a thing, and a slider, and you basically just see him with just his blindfold on, sliding open the thing and talking into this glass window. Still can't see him, but he's like talking to him, but like closes the door, just like, so what else wouldn't you want us to know? Like bracing the door of like.
I breathing a little harder as I stand outside. Be like, okay, ask your questions. I'll relay them and get the answers.
Oh, there was something else. As you were looking at him, after you gained control of him mentally, you actually saw what looked like glowing runes, which you should not be able to see, around his collarbone area, like around, like where a mantle would be, from shoulder across the front to shoulder, and then across the back, glowing and moving, and one strip down each arm. That, just for the record, is not visible. So the rest of you don't see that, but through your vision after doing that, you saw that.
Okay.
Questions?
Ask him if he knows if there's any other attacks. I mean, just because Scorpion had said that he didn't see any or didn't have a plan for anymore, doesn't mean that he doesn't have a plan for anymore. So does Craven have or know of any more predetermined attacks on
Do you
the rest of the
have
conference?
or know of any more predetermined or opportunistic attacks?
There is a fight going on inside, and you can see him struggling not to answer. And he says, "Traps. 5 traps."
Physical, mental, or
Magical.
magical?
Tell us about them in the inverse order that you set the traps.
How would I word it?
I don't know, like one's
Or-
spiritual,
Room-
one's a physical.
Room 108, threshold, magic. Room 552, micronet.
This is being recorded by camera, by the way, and I'm
Yeah.
writing it down in game.
Well, I'm not going to repeat it as a GM. You're not writing it down. That's not on me. Richard's personal transport. Reprogrammed. And 2 guards on Von Doom's employ. Magic.
So when
And you get pictures. So he doesn't say it, but blindfold, you get pictures of the 2 guards. He doesn't know their names.
So they don't have names on their shirts either,
No,
or
Not
badges.
that you could read.
not that you could read.
You know, because you're blind.
He wasn't the one.
But
who-
I have his mental image.
But he wasn't the one that spoke to them. Rhino was.
Okay.
So as that said, I'm going to flag that for our security team to go out to each of those locations to try to disarm said bomb or traps or whatever.
Okay.
did
Welcome
I
to
hear
discretion.
him ask for questions?
Yes.
Who?
Yes, I
Yes. Yes. Because
While
it's been long enough, Mark, that you would have come over.
With the exception of the 2 guards, I should say. The 2 guards.
Because you don't.
I don't know
Yeah,
which
you don't
ones.
have the images. Yeah.
What is the source of max power in the Savage Land? In his suit.
What is the source of the power in the Savage Land?
He
Unobtainium.
struggles, and his hands are under his like he's sitting on his hands, and you can hear the metal of the frame. You can hear it and almost feel the strain, that sound
And at this
Coming-
point,
coming
his
through the
resistance
walls.
comes back, and he no longer answers the question.
He says,
Power's returned.
Oh, that,
ultimate power. The ultimate power. But has no specific name for it. The image you get is of... It looks like something, a geode, about the size of a large man's fist, exuding purple energy, like flowing around it, like a miasma.
Like the Mind Stone.
Mind Stone is yellow.
But I mean, like one of the
Like, yeah, I guess, but those are much smaller.
Yeah,
This
he's
is like-
talking like a geode.
Like an Mcron crystal.
Yeah.
I'm quite certain my character doesn't know what that is.
Yeah, none of you would know what that is. Or, like a modified something else.
Like a modified.
Where is it? Where is it located specifically in the Savage Lands?
So he laughs and says, "Nowhere." And his eyes start coming back into focus, and he picks up the bed and slams it into the wall in front of him, like up against this wall. And you can see the area on his shoulders underneath his vest has started to blister red, like a 3rd-degree burn, and there's lines down the backs of his arms to his hands that have started to blister red.
In other words, I'm feeling my control breaking.
Yeah, your control is quickly slipping away. And to be fair, that answer was still an honest answer. As he smashed the rest of the bed frame, it was still an honest answer. So that was the source of at least his suit, probably more, and it no longer exists.
The last thing I'm going to try to ask, while I still got any touch, is how did you plan to escape?
By taking his transport. He will still come with me.
Shut up, Mark.
Don't get me wrong. Reed is still my prey. And before this summit is done, he will leave with me.
I sure hope he's wrong. This is about the time when I'm going to release him and start gasping like a little bit like a fish out of water.
He shakes. He starts shaking his head and starts yelling, like shouting, super loud, thrashing things, breaking things.
Oh, noises!
Like rage fills that room, and then he takes a running leap from the back of the room into the door frame, and you actually see the door frame budge. Not like break, but the force of him running into that wall, you could actually feel the force.
Would you describe the force as strong?
I knew you were going to say that. As soon as I said it, I was like, why'd you have to go there, Daniel? Yes, the force was strong with him. And he is still screaming and shouting in various languages.
At the high ground.
I will also say, out of character and for the record, the control effect is distracting but not physically draining. And the panting and breathing hard is hammed up for the purpose of making people who would try to hurt me underestimate me, not because it is that physically draining.
Nice.
Because I know that I am a squishy little thing. Like, I am good at not getting hit, but that if I get hit, it hurts. So every advantage to make someone underestimate me is what?
Nice.
So as you come out, as Blindfold comes out, are you okay?
He's very, very angry. He is filled with rage, and I didn't see it until I was in his head, but there's some runes, some magic on his arms and across the shoulder blades and down his back, like a mantle of magic and runes, and there's more than meets the eye. He got magic in disguise.
Noted, Mark. Also of note, NORAD. It's NORAD, right? NORAD?
No, it's Norrin. Norrin.
Norrin. Okay. Norrin recognized the math behind the coordinates, but not how to use those coordinates. And they were essentially... Huh?
I wouldn't have
He
seen
said them.
Oh, he said them.
Yes, he said
okay.
them, but because Blindfold didn't understand, and he's reading his mind, he also saw them.
I see.
you, because of your experience off-world, know that they are. It's one of the ways that you do coordinates of different planes.
Oh yeah, that's something that I definitely don't know.
Yeah,
Means
Like-
something just noise.
yeah, like multiverse stuff.
I'm going to do another full sensor sweep of this cage, going through false color images, going through X-ray, IR, the same.
He looks like a normal human, according to all of the biometrics and everything, except he is on the very high apex end. Essentially Captain America, but without the serum. Something else has enhanced him, but you don't see that showing up. You did see his colors change as he got, especially after the mental started breaking. He started getting hot, especially around those areas I said started to get boiling, where his skin was actually burning itself in those areas.
Okay, I'll make sure all of that video log gets saved and archived.
Okay.
And then I'm going to pull up the roster of the known security detail for Victor Von Doom, pulling up face profiles of all of them onto the screen. And I'm turning to Blindfold, about to ask him which one it might be, and then I stop. And delete all of that out of the screen.
Here, feel this touchpad. Alright.
I mean, with technology in Wakanda, I wouldn't be surprised if they got almost a 3D print touchpad for faces, almost like a braille, a live braille feed, so you could maybe 3D uprise a model and give some depth to it on a screen. So I don't know if potentially he's very good at being able to tell a face by feel, and based off his vision of the guy, he might be able to get some sort of facial touch recognition based off of the model being pushed up. You know, like I don't know, museums where you've got the device with like 100 or 200 pins, and you can put your hand in there and it would outprint that on the other side. Something like that, but more accurate.
What?
I'm confused as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand.
I know what you meant. So those little like kids' toys where it's like a little plastic box.
Yeah, actually,
You put your hand in it
actually,
and it makes a
Wakanda has
fingerprint.
that. Wakanda has those.
So we'll do a quick 3D print of similar to that, using that kind of
Yeah,
basis.
you just have to go to one of the tables, and you know there's one in Shuri's office, or in the labs. But essentially, it's what made the car and the plane
yep.
stuff. Yeah,
The sand table.
the sand table. There's a sand table. Yeah.
The question I'm going to have is going to be if Blindfold's going to be able to figure out which one's which through that.
I mean, his blindness is mostly fluff,
It's a full complication too.
and he has to go through. He has to go through each and every one of the every one of the guards. So I would say that maybe what you guys are going now, if that's what Blindfold wants to do. Norin,
He knows we can't hear him,
Norin,
right?
huh?
John knows we can't hear him, right?
Nope, sorry, I forgot. I had turned my microphone off to type.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I didn't like my keyboard is very clacky, so I didn't want you to all have in your ears when I typed.
What didn't you want
Nice.
us to have?
So instead, you do it just that.
Hey, it sounds like Mark when he's starting up the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, no, I'm not. I don't want to do the blindness as just superficial. I want to play it as something that actually has
Okay.
questions. And that means that Blindfold can't just look at pictures and be like, yes, it's that one. Unless I am like
Can you project
hijacking
what you
somebody's eyes.
saw onto us?
Well, that's why we suggested
Ooh.
the braille table as a
But-
Ooh.
Yes, but I saw what he saw.
Can you project what he saw into our brains?
I think I can. If you're comfortable with that. I have a strong telepathy ability. In fact, I can set up a telepathy net between.
Why didn't you set it up before you did this?
Because it's invading someone's brain without their perception, and I didn't know if you'd be okay with that.
I don't know if you want to go into his brain either.
Alright, so that's cool. Let's decide what we're doing because we're getting close to time. I know Norin wanted to go back to Shuri's office. Did anyone else want to go to Shuri's office? It sounds like we have two different groups. We have one group that's going to go and try to identify the Von Doom's troops, and we have one group that's heading to Shuri's office.
Okay, are you all comfortable with a telepathic conference call?
We have, for certain things like to give us the information for the bombs, no worries. As standard communication, not so much. Because we have comms.
Yeah, but mine's better. It can't be jammed or detected.
That's what Puck thought as well.
We all know what happened to him. I'm just saying.
What happened to who?
Yes, exactly.
Puck, that's out of character. Puck, that's a very silly name. What kind of person would be called Puck? Sounds like somebody you'd slap around.
What the puck? The problem is I would say it would be, do we have the ability to turn off recepting or accepting comm?
Comms themselves?
Well, if we did the telepathic net, is it something that I could zone out? Is it a one way? Is it a two way? I think consciously. Are you hearing anything? I think. I guess that's my biggest kind of.
It would be like a telepathic conference call.
So
you can mentally send thoughts.
It's comms. All it is comms. So it's going to be the same as having comms, except Blindfold is right. It would be essentially just unless there was a telepath, you aren't really able to jam it. You aren't really able to pick up on it, unlike normal comms. And if you wanted to share stuff, you could say, "Hey, I have an image for you to project." He's not reading anybody's minds. He's not doing any of that stuff. It's essentially just comms.
It basically functions like a Discord channel that you can hear in your brain content and messages.
Bless you.
You can hear things that anybody things only go into it when you choose to send things into it, and you can hear everything that's sent into it. You can ignore it to a limited degree. I mean, let me pick someone.
Aeon, where are you going, Aeon? Come back here, Aeon. Hey, listen.
I don't know if you're selling this idea.
Yeah, I think you should not go into sales.
Originally, this was going to be. I'm like, okay, I'm all for that. And I think you lost with the fifth Aeon.
But that, you can expect better behavior than that. Out of most of the people in this group.
The problem is, I know Aeon, so.
Okay,
but that's because Aeon is the only one that I could see over here on the sheet. Oh, okay, Silver Surfer over there too, but like Anza's not staying in the group. Blindfold, that's me.
So
I'm all for it for right now, and then let's drop the telnet after we get the picture.
For right now, because short of Blindfold actually saying, "Hey, this is an ability I have," Anza specifically asked, and so you could share the images with Anza, who is a member of the Wakandan security forces.
Yes, I could telepathically share that with you if you want.
Please do.
So, again, it looks like we're splitting into a couple groups. Where are the groups dividing lines?
I'm gonna go with to Richards.
Okay.
I'm going with Anza, apparently.
Surge?
With Silver Surfer.
Boo.
Okay.
You hear a voice in your head, that's a bad call. You do not.
No, he did not opt into the service yet. So therefore,
Actually,
I haven't got the terms and conditions yet. I still gotta finish reading those.
exactly.
now that I got the images from Blindfold, I'm able to start going through the roster and start coordinating the security from that side. I don't really need Blindfold with me, so this is a great opportunity for Anza to go off into the sunset by himself.
Okay.
He's sucked into a portal that opens, screaming.
Puck opens the portal and goes, "Finally, I escaped!" But then Anson gets sucked in and knocks him back in.
that is fitting.
Alright, so this is where we're going to stop it for this evening. With Ansa heading off to look into that. And you guys going into Shuri's. Actually, we could probably run the Shuri stuff. My brain is so tired.
Victor
No,
Von Dude.
Go to bed. We can do it next time.
Yeah, we'll do it next time. Yeah, so thank you guys very much. I am going to email you guys with how many PowerPoints you've gotten for the games that we've had so far. And so you guys can figure that stuff out. I'm going to go ahead and throw Anthony under the bus and say, if you guys have any questions about how to spend PowerPoints or some suggestions for your characters, feel free to email him because he's still going to be on email chains. Because I'm really going to rub it in that he's not able to play every time we have a session. It will be in 2 weeks, I believe. Shouldn't be a problem. If Anthony has a problem with it, I know he'd say so. And even if he had a problem with it, he's still going to help.
I have some questions for you, Anthony.
Yeah, what you got? We can wait till after, whatever you prefer.
Alright,
Can
so...
I add contagious to my mind control?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so...
No, I do not intend to do this, but I was just looking through the book and was like, oh, that's a thing that would be really wrong to add to my...
So it looks like the podcast is tomorrow. So on that note, everybody for watching the stream, you're all rock stars. Make sure to look at Patreon, which you can find below. And you can support us, the Gamers Ledge, by Patreon. Also, if you have Twitch Prime, you can use your free Twitch Prime on subscriptions with Gamers Ledge now on Twitch. Otherwise, rock on. Game on.
Game on.
Game on.
Game on!